Servers at restaurants, what's the strangest thing someone's asked for? A tablecloth. A gentleman shat himself at a booth and asked for a tablecloth so he could walk out with it wrapped around him. I still serve him to this day, and that was around 15 years ago. No shame. Back he comes once a week. We never asked about getting the tablecloth back. Honestly, I'd say the weirdest thing was that while I was a server at a restaurant in the Royal Hawaiian, a guest asked me to book a shark adventure tour. It had nothing to do with my job or even the hotel. Those tours were entirely separate businesses. I took his black card, went to guest services, picked up a pamphlet, and booked the tour. He tipped me $250. Totally worth it. We had a woman send a grilled chicken salad back because it was cold. So we cooked some new chicken and made sure to send it back while still warm. She sent it back again. The entire salad wasn't hot enough for her. We microwaved her salad. She ate it. I don't know, man. A grilled cheese. Atkins style. This was like early 2000s. My boss told me to microwave 3 slices of cheese and charge her $8 for it. She was thrilled. I had this couple come in with their own tea set. The man asked me if I had a few minutes to learn a few things. They were the second table sat, so I humored him. He showed me a very specific way of steeping and pouring the tea over a sugar cube and had me try it a couple times with water. The whole thing was sort of neat. He then asked if I would mind serving them their tea this very particular way. They were super kind. Even tough, the man had sort of an intense vibe to him. I filled the pot with hot water, carried it out like he showed me, and poured their cups of tea. Exactly how he showed me. He seemed extra pleased but never said a word or even looked at me. It was no problem and I felt super fancy doing it. I did refill their tea one time while they were there. And he also asked that I keep his wife's water glass full at all times. I knew it was going to be a good table when the first time I came by and refilled her water glass and inquired if they needed any more tea. The man handed me $20 and sort of dismissed me. He did it twice more that afternoon. At the end they paid with no tip. I thought, but $60 and a cool lesson was enough for me. My manager found me about an hour later and handed me an envelope and said they told him they only will come in when I am working from now on. The envelope had $100, business card, and handwritten thank you note. Apparently they had put this request up for many fine dining places and I was the only to get it right and do it graciously. It was very odd, because after the first lesson they treated me as if I was almost invisible. Backed up by the fact they didn't tip me in person. On every return trip it was the same. If you didn't know the deal they would seem like cold assholes. But they tipped really well and I treated them like VIPs every time. Can I have the chicken salad please? But instead of corn I want peppers. Instead of raisins, dates. And instead of pineapple, apple. And no chicken. Thank you. Quote. What is the absolute worst band name you can think of? An acquaintance of mine had a garage band. They called themselves the Homeless Abortions. The name implied something way more pleasant than they actually sounded like. Cherry Poppin' Daddies. There's a band named Rectal Smegma. That brings up some unfortunate mental images. I saw Frothy Discharge on a marquee once. Closed for repairs is another one that no one would put on a marquee. Hoobastank. Came here looking for the shitty Beatles frowning face. What is something that should have been painfully obvious, yet you learned it the hard way? Some people will not like you no matter how nice you are or how much you try. Life is unfair, and just because you are hardworking and nice does not mean that you will lead a happy life. Changing smoke detector batteries is important. You should really wear condoms. Even if you are kind and respectful, some individuals will still criticize you behind your back. If you only go for looks, you will have a bad time. What are your thoughts on Pat Robertson's demise? Do Kenneth Copeland next? As Clarence Darrow said, I have never killed anyone, but I have read a number of obituaries with great satisfaction. Wish I weren't on the clock, so I could pop a bottle of champagne. Anyone who cheers the AIDS epidemic as God tending to his garden is not a person I am particularly unhappy to hear is no longer around. Edit. My wording is a bit circular here, but to be clear, he was a bad person and I am happy that he's gone. I love that he died during Pride Month. Lol. Nothing of value was lost. His death came 93 years too late. Before some of y'all start hating on me, remember he's gone to his reward and now is in the place he always belonged. I'll let you interpret that however you want. Music lovers of Reddit, what song or artist gives you goosebumps? Just the Two of Us by Grover Washington featuring Bill Withers, or The World We Knew. Over and Over by Frank Sinatra. R.L. Stine. Black by Pearl Jam. All the Love Gone Bad turned my world to black. Who hasn't felt that? Lane Staley, his voice is beautiful. I was a huge Deftones fan because I was a horny, dark, suicidal teen. But when I finally saw them live for the first time when I was around 21 or so, it was absolutely soul-shaking to me, like wow. How can they be that heavy and beautiful at the same time? I'll never forget those goosebumps. Diamond Eyes era. Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon and Garfunkel. Full body shivers. What movies had the perfect ending but were ruined by a sequel? Highlander. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I mean, Indy riding into sunset. What a beautiful end to the series. But no. You mean The Mask had a son? And they made a movie about it? Independence Day, the sequel was so bad and unnecessary. The first Jaws was good. The rest. Subscribe, my brothers.